Hello and welcome to Tech Week in View, where each week we take the biggest stories of the week, chew them up, spit them out and tell you what we think. Stay tuned. This week saw a wonderful spat between Amazon and book publisher Macmillan over the price of ebooks, and in particular how much we're expected to pay. Amazon believes it should be a quick $10 in the US, while Macmillan has different ideas suggesting it should be $14.99. Why? Well, I'm not too sure, to be honest, because well, they haven't had to print anything, they haven't had to store anything, and they haven't had to sort of really sell anything apart from a digital copy. Now, I can understand paying $14.99 for a book that's had to be printed and then shipped and moved to a shop and then stored in that shop for me to be able to go along and buy it. I can even understand paying the same price for it online because, after all, Amazon has a big DC somewhere, in this case in Milton Keynes in the UK, that they've got to store all this stuff in. They've got to employ the man to pick it off the shelf, to put it in the envelope, to send it to you. It all makes sense. There's people involved, there's storage involved, and hey, I've got to get used to the fact I've got to pay for stuff. But when it's just down to bits and digits, and that I'm just buying a digital copy of something that hasn't even had to be printed, stored, or anything else, paying the same price as a book that, well, like a hardback or a paperback, seems to grate quite somewhat. I mean, I don't really get where the extra cost is coming from, and surely that just means that Macmillan is getting more money for the same thing that they did previously, because I've decided to be a bit more futuristic and buy it digitally rather than analog. And anyway, you can't share these ebooks. Well, you can, but not very easily, so it's not like I'm going to be able to buy it and then pass it over to other people to read, pretty much like I do with the novels that I read at the moment. Is that copyright? I'm not sure. Basically, it looks like the publishers are trying to have a run with us and basically charge us more than I think we should be charged. Amazon, it seems, for once, are actually standing up for the consumer, saying that we should pay less because it's a digital copy. Either way, what do you think? Google has upped the ante with its fight against Internet Explorer 6 by saying that now its Google Apps won't be offering support for the browser from March onwards. Of course, there's a final rollout which could take a whole year, but start thinking Google Docs, if you use IE6, no more. Chances are, however, though, I believe that probably people that are clever enough to be wanting to use Google Docs aren't using IE6 anyway, or if they are, they certainly don't have the power to change the fact that they use IE6 because they live in a big corporation and some IT guy somewhere says, you know what, I'm not going to be bothered to change these thousands of machines because if I do, that means I have to do work, and if I have to do work, I don't have time to play Doom or Quake. Yes, they probably really are that old school as well. Interestingly, the campaign for Don't Use IE6, which started last year, could say it's gaining some momentum. We could just say the web's moving on. Either way, if you're using IE6 on this to view this video right now, terribly sorry. Unless you change, the internet's going to look pretty pig ugly. Love it or loathe it, porn is one of the big driving factors of our technology today. Let's face it, secure browsing, secure purchasing, user-generated content, oh, that Blu-ray HD-DVD debacle, DVD, VHS. There are lots of ways that the porn industry drives our technology that we all love today, but unfortunately they could be about to be left behind if the popularity of the iPad takes off. We already can't access flash videos on the iPhone or iPod Touch, and now the iPad seems not to be able to do so either. The weekend it all came to light with Adobe whinging from a sort of pseudo-official blog saying that the best way to experience the web is obviously to allow flash, something that none of these devices do. Of course, they use CNN as an example with videos and interactivity to show how good it would be, but they also decided to show Bang Brothers in HD, something that raised quite a few eyebrows. A quick bollocking later, the guy changed the tune, hid the graphic, and said he was sorry to offend anybody. But it does open up this scenario that if I'm an adult and I'm respected in what I do and want to look at porn, then I should be able to, and not let technology stop me from doing that. You won't see tits and arse over Megawhat, for example, not because we don't believe it's a good thing, but because I know there are plenty of other sites out there, and I know you know them too, that will service your needs a lot better. Sky have changed the way we'll be watching television in the future by successfully broadcasting their first live 3D performance, which happened to be the Manchester Arsenal game at the weekend. Pubs were crowded, or certainly 9 pubs were over the weekend, with lots of people saying that they really enjoyed the experience, although a couple of them did say they felt a bit dizzy. That might have been probably due to the large amounts of alcohol that they drank instead. Either way, what's exciting is that now that it's a success there, Sky can carry on moving forward to bringing it in the home, and I believe that we'll probably start to see something on a more regular basis, certainly from a home perspective, coming September in time for the Premiership League. They're obviously focusing on sports at the moment. What's interesting, of course, is that with the TV having to be replaced, there are lots of TV manufacturers jumping over themselves to release 3D TVs in the UK. And so it's going to be time to start saving your money for a new home entertainment system. Well, that's it for this week's show. Hope you've enjoyed it. Why don't you tune in next time for more news, reviews, tips, tricks, opinions, and much more. I'm Stuart Miles. This is Megawatt TV. Thanks for watching.